The second sign was the mass exodus of the human population inhabiting several worlds of the galactic community, all of them apparently returning to the human homeworld Terra. But the final sign we ignored was perhaps our biggest failure, for we not only ignored it as a sign of danger but laughed, believing it to be a sign of weakness by the humans, the erasure of the hyperlanes connecting to all human systems. It was an incredible feat, on par with the greatest civilizations to ever grace the galactic stage. But we were so drunk in our hubris, we failed to realize what such an action entailed. It meant the humans were more technologically advanced than anyone else in the current galactic community. The galactic community chastised for our barbaric actions during the war, some members going as far as saying we had awoken a sleeping giant. But once again we laughed, blinded by our self-righteous arrogance, calling those members cowards. Especially when some attempted to send diplomatic missions to Terra to try and broker a true peace, we promised those members the same fate as Sirius for such an act of defiance. It turns out they were wiser than us. It was a normal day when every holo projector in the galaxy stopped their usual program to broadcast a message from the humans. However, instead of the usual emblem of the human United Nations, a new emblem appeared, a golden eagle with 12 stars around it and the human letters SPQT below. Then a human male appeared, his head shaven and his brown eyes piercing. His skin wasn't as dark as some humans, but it wasn't the lightest. It was somewhere in between their pigmentation levels and patterns. People of the galaxy, my name is Augustus. I am the Emperor of the Senate and the people of Terra. In the wake of the war with the vermin known as K-Cry, we the people of Terra underwent a shift. We realized that we could no longer be divided amongst ourselves when fighting enemies as ruthless as the vermin. As such, the world agreed, and instead of a single nation taking over, we all abdicated and revived one of the greatest empires of our past. My broodmate snarled every time he called us vermin, shouting insults and death threats towards the holo projector. Me, however, I felt something was terribly wrong. A heavy sense of dread was setting over me, dominating me. I got up and opened a window, and in the sky, I could see a new bright star in the distance. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the massacre of Sirius Prime. That day, our eyes were opened to the reality of war with other galactic powers. We were so focused on our peacekeeping agenda and our own rules of war. We did not consider that the other powers did not care about such rules. We were wrong, and we paid the price. This brings me to my next point. To every power in the galaxy, I ask that you understand what we are about to do is not an act of revenge, nor is it born out of hatred for the K-Cry. We spent the last year and a half debating this topic, with several global referendums and Senate votes being issued and revised. The people and the Senate of Terra have declared the K-Cry to be a parasite and vermin, a species that exults in destruction and misery. As such, we have voted that the Geneva Conventions do not apply to them and have marked them for extermination. I felt a chill travel down my body as the star in the sky kept glowing brighter and brighter. The human voice felt otherworldly. We have initiated the Nemesis Protocol 30 minutes ago and began shattering every K-Cry world apart from their capital world. To those inhabiting those worlds, I hope you find solace in each other before the end, because you will find none after. And to the K-Cry leadership, do not worry. We, on our path towards the stars, have learned the importance of the preservation of species, even those considered to be parasitic in origin. Your capital world will be reaped with 10,000 individuals being transported to a preservation station orbiting the Erebus black hole, where every possible need your species might have from environment to nutritional will be met. The world will then be quantum shifted, existing in a locked temporal loop for all of eternity. I turned towards my broodmates, whose faces were twisted in horror as the realization of reality washed over them. Outside, I could hear the commotion and the cries of panic, and I couldn't help but feel empty, wondering if this was how the humans we vaporized had felt just before their deaths. The glow was now so bright that it was outshining our star. For Sirius Prime, said the human emperor on the holo projector. As I ran towards my broodmates to hug them, the galaxy was different. The waves of the new era were rippling throughout the galaxy, through every star, every black hole, every nebula and comet. Every planet quakes under the awakening as the heralding light reaches them, reminding every soul that the galaxy has entered a new age, the age of humanity. I looked up towards the colorful night sky from my balcony and my eyes drank in the wonder of the cosmos, a magnificent frame for the first outburst of light. The herald that took a decade to arrive, carrying the message every sentient spacefaring species already knew the meaning of. This was the light emanating from the K-Cry system, previously a border system of the K-Cry Empire with our civilization, the High Veer Republic. This light, however, was not coming from the two stars of that system. It was coming from K-Cry Prime, the only inhabitable planet of that system. It was the light of an event the galaxy was now calling the Nisha, the Day of Retribution. 1 decade ago, some species, especially those targeted by the K-Cry expansionist agenda, celebrated the event, some making it a holy day. Our planet did not celebrate it, with our Council of Elders calling it a barbaric act, no matter how violent or dangerous the K-Cry were. This view was shared amongst many members of the galactic community, and despite the apprehension many held in regards to denouncing the actions of the newly formed SPQT, or as it was informally called, the Human Imperium. The Human Emperor did not threaten those who held those views. We understand that many will oppose our actions in regards to our actions against the K-Cry, claiming we had no right to judge an entire species. The voice of Emperor Augustus sounded warm and inviting. Even his predator-like physiology, which all humans shared, seemed compassionate. Within our own forums, a significant percentage of our people manifested against it, but in the end, the majority decided it. I know some will call our actions vengeful for the 1,343,000,000 humans that inhabited Sirius Prime at the moment of the massacre. I will not deny that grief still permeates our hearts and that some do hate the K-Cry. Many of us lost family on that day, I included. My brother and his family were tragically taken from us, along with countless others. And I will never forget it. But we must move forward together. The speech was generally well received amongst the galactic powers, with a few remaining steadfast in their condemnation of the SPQT. The representative of the VAR had spoken after the Emperor and condemned the genocidal actions of the humans. But the VAR showed a willingness to re-establish diplomatic relationships after the humans agreed to at least listen to the talks of reparations and talks of releasing the 10,000 K-Cry imprisoned in the preservation station. The Emperor agreed to participate in the talks and announced he would be participating personally. The location chosen was none other than my home world, Arariani, at the request of the humans, which sent the local population into a suspicion frenzy. The sector governor had to issue a formal declaration of trust, which did not do much to ease the tensions. Being a member of the sector government, I would be participating in the meeting, with the arrival of the human emperor scheduled for tomorrow. The morning of the human royal arrival started like any other, with our star accompanied by the Nisha glow in the blue sky. The sector government team was sitting around a table discussing the plans for the visit before the negotiations when the intercom rang and the voice of the Araria spaceport master spoke. No hyperlane signal detected. Neither have any of our outposts picked up any signal coming from human-controlled space. The governor, Elder Prince Zul, thanked the spaceport master for the update, and I could see the fur on his back ruffle. He was concerned the agreement was a sham, and the humans were planning an attack. After all, our system was 440 light-years away from Terra. The journey through the hyperlane should take approximately 16 hours, yet no reports of any convoy from human space had been received. How would they even travel? The question left my mouth without me realizing, and the whole room stared at me, triggering my fight-or-flight response, which took a considerable deal of willpower to overcome. That is a pertinent question, Morukor. The humans erased the hyperlanes to their systems, and they haven't been restored, said the governor with a nod. Suddenly, the intercom sprang up, and the spaceport master spoke again, his voice trembling. Sir. There has been a gravitational signature detected where from here, the uncertainty was being replaced with fear. There. It's everywhere. The world seemed to stop for the briefest of moments, with everyone looking up towards the sky as the blue void seemed to ripple faster and faster. I felt my heart skip a beat, not out of nervousness, but wonder. This wasn't an attack, it didn't feel like it. This was something else. Suddenly, a ring appeared, sending one final wave through space, fading into infinite nothingness. Through the ring, we could see another set of stars in the distance and one planet. I immediately knew what planet it was. I had seen plenty of it over the last few years. Terra, home of the humans. However, it was not entirely as it appeared in the hollow projectors. This Terra had 2 artificial rings constructed around it, one contained within the other. The inner ring had what appeared from this distance several dockyards. It appeared to serve mostly the function of a planetary spaceport. The second ring, with a circumference at least 10 times bigger than the inner ring, appeared to have seas and land on the inner surface. Lights dotted these islands or continents. The outside of this ring appeared to serve as an aggressive defensive barrier, with cannons and other weapons dotting the outside. The view of the marvelous planet was suddenly obstructed by a massive ship coming through the gate. It was an elegant vessel with completely black armor adorned in a multitude of golden botanical overlays. In stark white, the words TI Juno in the standard human alphabet stood out. Good thing I had studied the human alphabet and languages in the years before. Wait, how could I read it this far? The intercom rang, and the spaceport master's voice, almost stuttering, said, "A wormhole has been detected," and subsequently a gargantuan vessel traversed it. "How massive, Master Geel?" asked the governor. "Our sensors indicate it's 70 kilometers in length, and it's emitting a power signature unlike anything we have ever seen," said the spaceport master. "And it appears they're hailing us. Keep us connected as they contact you," ordered the governor. "Greetings, Araria Spaceport. This is Admiral Chen Zhao of the Tan Imperial vessel Juno. We are transporting His Imperial Majesty Augustus on a diplomatic visit to Araria." "Permission to dock," said a smooth voice in perfect galactic common. "Greetings, Admiral Zhao." "Welcome to Araria," responded the spaceport master. "This is Spaceport Master Jeweler. I would love to permit you to dock, but it appears your vessel is quite larger than the spaceport, so you will have to gravitationally anchor yourselves to our moon." "Understood, Master Geel. We shall do as you request. We will be sending our administrative staff over to the spaceport to handle the bureaucracy, and in the meantime the diplomatic mission will make its way towards the surface of Araria Ni. Where should they land?" Hello. This is Elder Prinzul, Sector Governor of the Araria Sector. We shall send you the coordinates for the diplomatic disembarkment platform," interjected the governor. "Very well, Elder Prin. We'll be awaiting your instructions." A few hours later, the entire sector governmental team was standing by the diplomatic platform as a black and golden shuttle gently floated down. As it made landfall and the ramp slid down, I got my first-hand look at humans. Quite taller than us, the humans lacked our fur or tail. They also only had 4 limbs, with 2 upper limbs and 2 lower ones. Their hair and pigmentation, however, was quite varied. Of the security detachment that exited the shuttle before the diplomatic team, there were 3 yellow-haired humans, 2 orange-haired, and 5 brown and black-haired ones. I noticed the yellow and orange-haired had a very light pigmentation of the skin, while the others had darker tones. All of them were using some sort of eye protection. Finally, after the security team formed 2 lines, the human Emperor Augustus left the shuttle. He was even smaller than the guards, but his posture was undoubtedly that of someone wielding absolute power. His brown eyes quickly darted all over the platform in a fraction of a moment before finally resting on the sector governmental team, sending chills up my back, and from what I could tell from the pheromones emanating from the rest of the team, the reaction was shared by everyone else. Those were the eyes of an apex predator, a hunter. He walked towards the team and bowed his head, placing his hand on his nape, a formal Vylar greeting. "I am honored to be here under the guidance of the elders, of everyone who came before. I am Augustus, formerly Michael, and I'm here on behalf of humanity. I am all of them, and they are all of me." His voice was smooth, almost like a singing bird, but that is not what caught us off guard. He spoke in our language, Aegeran, and his accent was slightly foreign. My eyes focused more on the Emperor, analyzing every aspect of his being. He was wearing a white cloth vest with gold embroidery and white pants. It almost resembled a military uniform. On his left hand, he was wearing 2 rings, one a simple golden band, the other an ornate ring with an eagle holding the letters SPQT. Before anyone could respond, the Emperor looked up and smiled as the light of our star bathed his skin. "Your star, Araria, holds an exceptional meaning for us humans. We call it Polaris, the North Star. It helped navigators centuries ago travel the seas, and now it helps us as we explore this unending cosmic sea." The governor smiled and cleared his throat before speaking the human English language. "Welcome, Emperor Augustus. I am Elder Prinzul. We are the ones who are honored by your visit, and we appreciate your dedication to diplomacy by learning our language. I am sure that as we advance, we will be able to prevent the mistakes of the past." The emperor nodded and approached the governor, holding out his hand. However, a loud yell echoed through the platform before the governor could grab the emperor's hand. On high alert, the imperial guard grabbed their weapons, but not fast enough. Ayao, an avan species known for their battle-oriented society, was diving down, holding an energy rifle and pointing it directly at the emperor. Murderer, shouted the Ayao, pulling the trigger, sealing the fates of millions in one fell swoop.